Alright everybody, welcome back. We're in Anime Last Stand, checking out the ReZero update. So we're going to start off with our first 4 units. I don't have enough slots, so we'll check out the other 2 in a separate, well, not a separate recording. I'm just going to check out these 4 right now and then do the other 2 after. So we're just going to go down the list. We have Glitch Glorious on everybody, triple S stats. So we have Subaru. So he is 11.4 mil every 3.47 seconds. He is neutral. So let's go ahead and check. He has 2 abilities on placement. We have Self-Inflicted Death Return. Upon activation, you reduce this unit's HP by 2 per second, and this unit is dormant until his HP reaches 0, which is the Death Return bar here. And then he has Greed, Greed second shift. Upon activation, set stuns, damage, and movement counters from authorizing Greed to 0, time stop the entire map for the amount of stuns times 2 divided by the enemies on the map. Seconds, cap 75 seconds, deal damage count times 1 trillion divided by the enemies on the map and deal that amount of damage. Permanently slow all enemies by the movement count times 3 divided by enemies on the map. So it'll be whatever that percentage will be. I'm not doing all that math. It's gonna take too long. And with a cap of 50%, if fewer than 5 enemies are on the map, you do an extra 10% max HP damage with a cap of 5 trillion, and then you add plus 15 seconds to time stop. Then we have Death Return. This unit has an HP bar, cap of 100, as you can see here. Minus 3 HP per stun received, minus 1 HP per buff received. When HP hits 0, reset to 100, and permanently gain plus 10% damage uncapped. He cannot lose HP for 15 seconds and walk back all enemies for 25 seconds. He has a 100-second global cooldown. After the walk back, for every stun received, time stop all enemies for 2 seconds with a 50-second cap. For every debuff received, enemies take plus 5% damage for 60 seconds with a 200% cap. If an enemy is affected 3 times, Anchor Bio. Anyways, if an enemy is affected 3 times, send it to spawn, max 3 per enemy, and deal 1.5 times stacks percentage max HP damage with a cap of 1 trillion. Then we have Authorizing Sloth. Attacks twice on a separate timer. The extra attack only hits enemy within 20% range and deals 250% of Suzuki's damage at 2 times his SPA. That's not bad. Authorizing Greed. All stuns, debuffs, negative effects taken by allies in range redirected to this unit. Contributes to Death Return. Tracks 3 counters, cap of 200 each. Stuns plus 3 per stun, damage plus 1 per damage, crit chance, crit damage debuff. Movement is plus 1 per range / SPA debuff. So we could probably just use his self-inflicted Death Return. 400-second cooldown, reduced unit HP. Well, we'll do that in a second. Let's go ahead and upgrade him. So let's go ahead and turn my attack effects on. Make sure we can see all those. We don't have abilities disabled. So he's just slamming down. So let's go to, which is Cheap Shot. He's just... Alright. Well, he's circle AoE. Let's go ahead to the next. Yeah, Smokescreen. It's just a little bigger slash. And at max, we're doing 1.59 bill every 4.17 seconds. So let's go ahead and use his self-inflicted. So now his greed bar is going up. And this will just drain all the way to 0. We'll put you right here, just in case. And then you see he's just permanently stunned until this goes, and he's back. Now he's plus 10% damage. So with the greed bar being the way it is, it should do this one. So we'll go ahead and use greed second shift, which deletes that, and it would time stop those enemies. But yeah, that's it for Subaru. A lot of these are dependent on other units getting debuffs, so there's no way to realistically show them unless I go into a mode that heavily debuffs everybody. Then it'll showcase it better. So let's go ahead and move on to Reinhard. Let's sell you. Alright, so we have 38.3 mil every 4.21 seconds. He is Perfect Seal, and we have an random effect. So he has quite a lot going on here. So he has Holy Defense of Stun Immunity. He's immune to all stuns. Holy Defense of Debuff Reversal. This unit turns debuffs into equal buffs. Holy Defense of Buff Enhancement. All buffs directed to this unit are ×2 more effective. And Holy Defense of Bypassing. Bypassing any form of defenses, including nuke resistant shields and special effects. That would be great for certain modes where bosses don't take as much damage from stuff. He basically would do normal damage if he uses nukes or anything, or just attacking them in general. And then Holy Defense of Tick Damage. He deals 50% more damage and 50% damage in range every second. It's not bad, not bad. It's just he literally hasn't even attacked yet. Holy Defense Holy Defense of Anti-Cell cannot be sold or deleted by outside sources. So that means for stuff like the Monarch Dungeon, or other things like some of the boss rushes where they target units, he wouldn't be able to be sold and stuff like that. So you can only basically sell him yourself. Nothing that externally will try to get rid of him, which is very nice. And then we have Holy Defense of the Elements. This unit absorbs elements from enemies entering his range, gaining fire. Enemies take plus 80% burn DOT damage, apply sunburn. Water slows are plus 80% stronger, apply soaked. Nature HP drains are plus 80%. So they're all fire units, so he would be getting the first one. And then nature HP drains are plus 80% stronger, apply slow. Light is applied weakened and stun. Dark, all debuffs to that enemy are plus 80% stronger, apply despair and pressure. If an enemy of that element re-enters his range, the effects are applied. After Holy Defense of the Sword is activated once, all these effects are permanent to all enemies. That's actually very nice. Oh, that's the last one. Alright, let's go ahead and start upgrading. So we have Mono Reaver, which he's just dealing damage to this thing, so I can't see his attack effects. We have Dragon's Roar. We attack him, please. Alright, we're not almost it. He's killing them too quickly. Alright. So we have Holy Defense of the Sword, deal 1 trillion damage. For each time the target enemy has been affected by a different random effect from this unit, deal plus 500 billion extra damage with a cap of plus 4 trillion total extra damage. And the requirement is 1 total trillion damage dealt and 3 or more unique elements on the team. So I don't think I could. Yeah, I can't use it. So I won't be able to use the ability yet, unfortunately. Because if we could use that, then we would get all of these passives, basically, from this one thing applying. So we would have to go into nightmare mode for that, and wait for that, and then have 3 or more unique elements. So that's something we'll have to check out later. But he has 2.42 bill and 6.32 seconds at max. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's do Rem and Rom. So we have Rem Oni. So on placement, she's doing 4.68 mil every 2.10 seconds. And she does have the ability Rom, which basically allows you to place her down as a unit. That's her own little separate unit. She has 1.89 mil every 1.4 seconds. So we'll start with Rem. Synthesia. Synthesia? I don't know. I'm not great at pronouncing things like this. I'd be second guessing myself. Anyways, if Rom is buffed, Rem gains the same buff. Rom cannot receive buffs originating from this passive. If Rom is stunned, Rem gains plus 20% damage and is immune to stuns until Rom's stun ends, and then vice versa. She also has the same thing. And then we have Morningstar. If attacking an enemy with Rupture, you apply Mutilate, minus 5% SPA for 20 seconds. stacks to minus 25%. And at SPA cap, set AoE to full for 2 attacks and reset the SPA above. If Rom is in range, plus 50% range instead. And then we have Oni, after 8 waves on the field, plus 75% damage, minus 20% SPA, plus 50% range. Rim becomes immune to stuns, then Rom gains Rupture. Nice. Then we have Ice Magic. Every 3 attacks, immediately follow up with 100% damage hit. Cycles L, U, Owl. Yeah. L is Cone AoE, gains Freeze plus Bleed. Ul is Circle AoE, gains Frostbite, Pressure, Weaken. Then Owl is Line AoE, gains Blizzard, Crippled. And Synthesia is active from either Rim or Rom. This follow-up occurs every attack for 60 seconds with a local cooldown of 90. And then let's take a look at Rom. Clairvoyant, and she has Rupture. Oh geez. Anyways, we have Clairvoyance, can attack outside her range, dealing 50% less damage. If the enemy has Hemorrhage, she deals full damage instead. Not bad, not bad. So if you pair her with somebody who does Hemorrhage, then she can basically attack anywhere. Whenever enemies enters 50% of this unit's range, slow by 30%, and they take 40% more damage until they leave this area. Every 3 attacks, immediately perform a follow-up. L, 150% damage follow-up. Line AoE applies Wind Shear and Bleed. Then we have 100% damage follow-up. Full AoE applies Wind Shear and Dismantled. Then we have 300% damage follow-up. Full AoE applies Stun. And then same thing if Synthesia is activated by either Rim or Rom, this cycles every attack for 6 seconds, local cooldown of 90 seconds. So let's go ahead and max Rom out first. We got Furrow Blast. And now we're full AoE. And now we have only Awakening. Upon activation, lasts 100 seconds, plus 400% damage, minus 10% SPA, plus 35% range. Disable Wind Magic passive. Every attack applies a random bleed type DOT. Every 5 attacks, walk back all enemies for 5 seconds. And after this duration, you stun this unit for 30 seconds. And then let's go ahead and max her out. We have Ice Barrier, Morning Swing. So we're at 775 mil every 3.14 seconds because we have our buffs going on. So Ice Barrier for 45 seconds, all allies deal plus 50% damage to enemies with a freeze type DOT applied. So we'll just go ahead and use that. And then we'll use hers. Boost her damage to 1.60 bill every 1.57 seconds. And it lasts for 100 seconds. And then she also gets the same. So she's at 2.54 bill every 2.74 seconds. So they're both dealing quite a lot with just those two. Oh my. So yeah. Not bad, not bad. Like with all the extra things they have, they do decent damage, like slightly. And now she has Hemorrhage. Applying Hemorrhage. I forget which one was that. Anyways. But let's go ahead and move on to Ladies Man. My Glorious King. Regulus. He's a fraud, but it's okay. So we have Roaring Heart, immune to debuffs and stuns every 60 seconds, time stop enemies in range for 15 seconds, plus 1 second per capped wife unit. Roaring Heart material control. When an enemy is time stopped in range or a unit is stunned in range, you gain the effects based on that enemy's element. If they're neutral, Splinter Storm deals 0.5 times damage in range every second, 5% chance to apply bleed per tick. Water Tsunami deal times 5 damage in range every 20 seconds, apply soaked. Increase bleed type DOT damage by 30% for units in range. And then for Nature Hurricane, you gain Wind Shear. Enemies under Wind Shear in range take 20% more attack damage. We have Firestorm, increase burn type DOT damage for all units in range by 50%. Constantly apply Scorch in range. And for Perfect Seal, Authority of Greed, gain the total debuffed damage from Miniature Monarchy as a flat damage buff. And then for Miniature Monarchy passive, we have up to 10 units within 20% Range are marked wife. Marked units gain minus 0.1% damage and minus 0.2% SPA per second with a cap of minus 20% damage and minus 40% SPA. Miniature Monarchy Kingdom, once 10 wife units have reached the cap, forcibly gain all material control passives. So I don't have enough units to really activate those passives, fortunately. That would take a lot. So let's go ahead and start upgrading him. Instantaneous Destruction. So we have Firestorm right now, Roaring Heart, since they are fire elements. Circle AoE, which is a huge circle AoE. So he does have Pressure and Fear. He's doing 1.31 bill every 3.19 seconds with a range of 89. It's not the biggest. Not the biggest. I would need more. Have a lot of units. This is like more dependent if you're like playing with others or if you're using people who have super high placement. Like if you were to use Grammy with him, that would definitely work out. What is happening here? Okay, there we go. All right, y'all. So we're back with Catboy Healer and White-Haired Witch Greedy. So we have 3.3 mil, 3.33 mil every 6.26 seconds. And my game is killing itself right now. I should probably turn my effects off for my game absolutely explodes. But anyways, well, to keep these attack effects off right now. The game is gonna absolutely shoot itself. But so we have a ability on placement. For 60 seconds, the chosen unit gains minus 40% SPA, immunity to stuns, and times 2 damage every 5th attack. It's very nice. That would go great paired with Reinhardt. Let's see what else we got. Catalyst. Upon entering range, enemies are marked with Catalyst. When an attack on a marked enemy causes them to cross HP threshold, you apply at 75%, mutilate and crippled, at 25% exposed and detonation. We have body manipulation. Every 20 catalyst applications apply petrify and unstable to enemies in range. Very nice combo there. Oh, my game is still gonna geek out. King's Sacrament. Enemies killed in range have a 10% chance to resurrect as a summon, which we have all these summons going by. And the summons have no HP. Instead, they cause up to 10 enemies to walk back for 10 seconds. Each enemy can only be affected once per summon. It's not terrible. Let's go ahead. She's pretty cheap to max out. She's not too bad. Or he. Sorry. My bad. Literally called Catboy. I'm a little tired, ain't gonna lie. So we have Soaked Effect. We're doing 1.32 bill every 6.26 seconds. And then or if we can select itself. Nope. Alright. Fair enough. Let's choose Chad. Because why not? So yeah, it goes 2 seconds. Jeez. Anyways. So that is Catboy. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Witch of Greed. So she doesn't do any attacks. Let's see. We do have an ability on placement. Book of Overflowing Knowledge. Select an ally. This ally is stunned for 30 seconds, and White-Haired Witch gains plus 10 second SPA per 20 million damage the ally had for 45 seconds, plus 10% plus 10 range per 5 range the ally had for 60 seconds. So if it's somebody who has an astronomically high range, yeah, let's go ahead and put on Felix. Why not? Oh, that's a insanely high range. Oh my. Alright, anyways. Witch of Greed. We have all allies on the map lose 10% range. For each affected ally, this unit gains plus 10% range. The Book of Overflowing Knowledge cooldown is reduced by 25 seconds up to minus 250 seconds. All allies in range lose 50% elemental advantage. We have Magic Proficiency. This unit has no normal damage stat. Attacks are performed via magic using nearby allies. For every 20 range this unit has, plus 5% SPA uncapped. Fire magic procs 1 attack sooner, minute every 3 attacks. Healing magic, the cooldown is minus 5 seconds, minus 25 seconds. And then teleportation cooldown is minus 10 seconds, with the minimum being 50 seconds. Aishari duration is plus 10 seconds, the max being plus 50 seconds. Then we have Magic Creation. This unit's SPA cannot be changed by any source, and is set per upgrade. You deal tick damage every second equal to current SPA times 1 million. So it wouldn't be much right now. If Forbidden Arts is used, set ceiling to 3 mil instead of 1. For Fire Magic, if a fire element unit is in range, follow up every 7th attack with 225% of that unit's damage. Alternate follow-up effects by unit. For Goa, applies Sunburn on follow-up. G-Bald applies Blue Flames on follow-up. Healing Magic, if a water element unit is in range, cleanse their debuffs and stuns, 30 seconds cooldown per cleanse. If cleansing a debuff, plus 25 range to this unit for 25 seconds, additive not percent. And convert the debuff into a buff. If cleansing a stun, the water unit now applies stun for 20 seconds. Soul Transcription, if a nature element unit is in range, gain Soul Transcription active. Ishari, if a light element unit is in range, gain the Ishari pack active. And Castle of Dreams, if a dark element unit is in range, gain the Castle of Dreams active. So I can't do all of them. We can only do Naruto and Chad. So now we have Soul Transcription. Obtained from Magic Creation passive. Upon activation, select an ally. For 30 seconds, this ally gains plus 100% damage, plus 50% range, and cannot be stunned or debuffed. And for Ishari, deal 4 million times upgrade times 10 damage every second in range for 100 seconds. If upgrade is greater than 5, deal 4 million times upgrade times 100. Instead, all light element allies gain plus 20 times light allies in range percent damage for 100 seconds, which is insane. A lot of these would have to be tested out to see how far some of these buffs can go. A lot of these units are very heavy support. Get my game not shoot itself, please. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and just max her out. Her range is quite high. And then we have Forbidden Arts. Requirements: max upgrade, greater than 200 range, and greater than 10 or equal to 10 units / clones / summons on the map. That's nice. Upon activation, unlock all passive regardless of requirements. Set magic creation damage scaling from 1 million to 3 million. Fire magic now applies both effects. Healing magic now affects all allies with no cooldown. Soul Transcription becomes a permanent effect, cannot stack. And if Soul Transcription was used already, undo its effects and reset its cooldown. Set Ishari active damage scaling from 4 million to 6. Castle Dream becomes a permanent effect. If Castle Dream is already active, reset its cooldown and gain teleportation active. So let's go ahead and use Forbidden Arts. So that would be gain everything else. So we have Castle of Dreams. Apply restrict, expose, and negation to all enemies for 60 seconds. All damage from this unit is 1.5 times more effective. And then teleportation, select a place on the map to teleport this unit. If this unit teleports outside of its current range, deal 500 billion damage to the entire map. Alright, the cap of that nuke is kind of awful, ain't gonna lie. But let's go ahead. I think, yeah, so it's just abilities. So let's use, let's use just in succession, I guess. So Chad should get a slight buff. I'm curious how far I can get this to go. Let's go ahead and just put all these buffs on him. Let's see. So it only stacks up to a certain percentage. Anyways. Yeah, because he only gets this plus 100% damage, so that's fine. Well, he's at 5 mil. Not bad at all. And plus you take Catboy to finish lowering his SPA plus her buffs and everything. Oof. Man, a lot of these supports will go crazy. But that's it for all the units for this update. I'm going to do some testing with a lot of these supports, figure out how good some of them are. But I'll see you on the next update whenever they drop that godly update. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy.